What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Miniverse. I'm going to make a big mess today, and hopefully I'll get a battle mat out of it. So this technique I first saw Mel TheTerrainTutor do it, but even he said it's been around a long time, and a lot of people have been doing it. So I figured I'd try it out today and hopefully get a good battle mat that I can use for Gaslands is what I'm making it for, but I should be able to use it for D&D or Fallout, or pretty much anything else. I'm just going to make a wasteland like a desert looking terrain. So let's get on after it. Alright, so I got my table covered with wax paper first, because I know I'm going to make a mess. Hopefully it won't stick to the wax paper. Then I've got a 3 foot by 3 foot piece of canvas. This is just some cotton duck canvas that I had left over, and a whole bunch of this acrylic caulk, and then some spreaders for it to use, and some paint. So first up, use the caulk. Alright, that should be all I need right now. Alright, I'm going to use this nutmeg brown. I got the big bottle. Now, Mel said don't go over 10%. So I don't want to put a lot in there. I've got black in here if it doesn't get dark enough. I guess if you put too much in there, it'll crack on you, which is one of the reasons we're using acrylic caulk, so that it doesn't crack. I mean, in a wasteland, it's probably not going to look too bad, but if all else fails, use a stick, right? And I don't know how well that's showing up, but it is not very dark at all, so I'm going to put a little black in it. Alright, now it's more gray than brown, so I'm going to put more brown in here, so it's probably going to be too much paint and it's probably going to crack, but that's okay. We'll get there. Alright, so it's almost back to brown. I don't know if you can see it in there. It's still pretty gray, but I don't want to risk putting any more paint in there. I'll just have to paint it afterwards, I guess. But then, just take the scraper and put it on. The technique, I think, is supposed to be just make sure it squishes down into the fabric. But I'm confident that I have the caulk worked into the fabric. Now I can start doing some texturing on it. So I'm just going to take some extra caulk and spread it around. Alright, so it's not as easy to get a natural looking surface as they make it look. But that's okay. We'll get there. I'm just going to kind of keep laying it up like this until it starts to look kind of natural. Alright, so I think this works out the best. Just put a glob on there and scrape it around a little bit until it's kind of thin. Don't worry about the lines real much. Covered and smooth, and then just drag. Just light drag. Drag it over. A little more here and there. Just kind of drag it in a couple of different directions, real light, and back and forth a little bit, and then it kind of evens out. You lose all the lines, and then everything starts looking kind of wind-blown. Alright, since it's looking a little more like mud than dirt, I'm going to add some dirt. and I'm gonna have to paint it anyway, so dirt, alright, maybe, rocks. I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of this around, make sure it's nice and broke up first. Alright guys, so I've given it about 24 hours to dry, and it's pretty dry and it's still pretty flexible. I don't see any cracking in it yet. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up all this extra baking soda that's gone all over the place, and then we'll get a close look at the details on it and see where we're at. Alright, so here's a close-up of the surface here. So you should be able to see some of those textures in there. It does kind of look cool right now for like a sci-fi, you know, moon setting, or got like 40K or something like that. But that's not what we're doing, or what I'm doing. There is a spot over here that looks kind of weird. Not exactly sure what happened there, but I think it'll be okay. Alright, so I'm going to start painting. I'm going to do an overbrush with this khaki color, and then do a dry brush with this light beige, and then a final dry brush just real light with this parchment color. That's what we're looking at after all that paint dried. I wanted to give it a little more depth, so I mixed up some black wash and some brown wash, and I ran that through the airbrush. I just kind of went back and forth, black and brown, and sprayed it here and there, all over. And a couple spots I let it pool up, and then dabbed it off with a paper towel. That made some pretty interesting little color variations there on the surface. And here's a little flyby close-up after all that got dry. I think it looks pretty good. It's got a lot of details in there. And the final test there to see if it'll roll up and unroll nicely. No problems at all. Alright guys, so that's my attempt at making a battle mat. I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks pretty good. It's definitely going to make our games more immersive now. And I plan on making more of them in the future, maybe different biomes, different sizes. I'd like to make a big one for big Warhammer matches. But anyway, if you guys want to see those when I do them, let me know down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. And if you guys have made any battle mats like this, I'd like to see them. Head over to the Facebook page and throw me some pictures. I'd like to take a look at them. Thank you guys so much for watching. Now go have some awesome games.